Here we are, bottom of the Smash Mountain. I would like to thank all my Patreon supporters at patreon.com/bsmpod for continuing to support me and what I'm doing. Big shout outs to my senior producers. We have Ventus Official and also my parents, mom and dad. Love you guys. Thank you all so much for your support. Today, I'm very pleased to have somebody who is going to be allegedly, if we are going to follow the ETOS rankings, and it's not stressful for people like who I'm introducing right now when talking about rankings, but a top 20, possibly bona fide player in Melee. And it's really cool because this has been a long time coming for an official year-end ranking for Nouns Esports, the Brotherhood, Aklo, who joins us on the podcast today, live on twitch.tv/. You get it. Hey, there's too many things. Aklo, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So, let's see. I saw the tweet of yours being like, "When are the year-end rankings coming out?" Because these people coming out with their own rankings is stressful because you have to sort of acknowledge it even if you're only reading it for yourself, not necessarily responding to people, responding on Twitter, talking about it on stream. But
Yeah,
it feels like it's kind of been hanging over everybody's heads for the players who are aspiring to go rank number one or rank top 10, rank top 20, or to be in top 100 rankings in general. You've been thinking about it, I'm sure, for a while now, and it's like, when are the official ones coming out, right?
yeah, like it's not something you can just like not look at, you know?
I don't know. Thoughts on the ETOS rankings? Did you look at those?
I think my ranking was actually like not that far off from where I think it will be, but I was below a couple people that I don't think I should be. So,
Yeah, because if head-to-heads matter, I mean, did you not go positive on S2J? Now look, it's tough because a lot of what frustrates me about rankings is how much are you going to value attendance versus not attendance, because when you don't attend, you are avoiding the negative results, so you let your positive results shine more. It's a whole thing, but I think what I'm most thankful for, Aklo, when watching you, I've gotten to watch you at more events this year than in the couple of years that I've been more involved with watching Melee live streams and following events week to week. I got more into this in the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019, and I did not know who you were for a little while, not until it was the hidden boss of New York kind of talk that eventually got to me. And then I
right.
think it was at the old nightclub maybe that I saw a live event, saw you play for the first time. But now that you've been able to travel more this year, you were, I mean, at least at least at Genesis, at least at the big house, the lovely Smash Invitational, and at Main Stage Apex, it goes on and on. You've been able to go
Right,
to
right.
a lot more events outside of your region in particular. But then also it's kind of cool you've been able to be the king of New York. I see that the year-end rankings for NYC have not come out yet, but the most recent NYC rankings that went to June or whatever this year had you at number one. So it must be. I mean, that's the first thing I'm thankful for. Regardless of where you end up, it doesn't affect me as nearly much as it affects you. But it's so cool that I've been able to watch you play against more people out of region, be at these bigger events, right, and play pretty well. It's been cool to see this year for you.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. Um, I think this year, like this is probably the most Melee I've like ever played or like especially traveled for. Do you know what I mean?
When you realize that after Genesis you go, actually I could get to another big event this year, because I think it might have been only one or two that you would try to get to in a year's time, and you would go, all right, that's it for me, just going to do
Yeah.
local stuff for the rest of the year. I mean, what has that been like, because you've been playing all that extra melee, or melee out of region, I should say.
You're saying what has that been like?
Like for you, I mean, are you enjoying the fact that you've been playing more
Oh
melee than
yeah,
ever? Are you
yeah.
starting to feel tired of it?
Like I know people talk about the burnout a lot, but like I guess since it's new to me, I don't feel the burnout as much. I was like, wow, I want to do this more and more and more.
Well, what about the
Um,
fact that you're also in school? Because as far as I know, you still had finals in this particular semester. You were talking about it when ranked came out, going, "Oh, great! Just before finals,
yeah,
ranked. That's awesome."
yeah. That was really bad, like really bad timing. Um, yeah, juggling melee with school is actually it's very hard. I try to prioritize school as much as I can, and that's why like for a big chunk of the year, I was studying for a big exam. That's so for a big chunk of the year, I just didn't go to events like around summertime, you know. And yeah, you just gotta prioritize sometimes.
But then you came back and you didn't have a severe drop off. I think of other people like Lod who didn't play a lot of Melee or any in most of 2021, but then came back for the Smash World Tour championships, the finals in 2021, did so and then started to turn it around. Even at Genesis earlier this year, Genesis 8 in April, finishing top 8 if I recall correct. Oh yeah, because that was one of the legendary lot
Oh
hungry
yeah,
box
yeah,
sets and losers. Whew.
yeah.
Anyway, there's a little bit of a drop off, if you will, but I also feel like it allows you to reset, avoid that burnout that you were talking about. It seems to help in that regard as well.
Yeah, when I came back, or like you could call it that, because like I wasn't really there in the first place, like going event to event to event. But when I did come back from a break, I think it was Big House, and I think I got 17th, and I think that was my lowest placing at like majors this year. So like yeah, I don't know, like I guess it was a little bit harder for me to play in that tournament, but then after that I did a lot better. So
I mean, the same placing thereabouts as Leffen, so
that's true. No, I remember like no shots at Leffen or anything, but like when I got 17th and then I saw Leffen get 17th, I'm just like, well, if Leffen got 17th, I shouldn't feel bad.
because we all know Leffen has such high standards for his play and
Right, right.
the frustrations of not always being able to play against the North American competition from Europe when he's over in Sweden. We all know that, but it's cool that you can still somehow do all of this juggling. So I mean, I think that maybe it's burnt out because of all the stress and tax on your mind through different things of trying to be really good at melee, do your name proud, the Brotherhood proud, New York City proud, and East Coast, I guess, if you're going across to the West Coast for something like main stage, but you're also doing school and you're streaming as well. Twitch.tv/Aklo214, I think it is, by the way. Just
Yeah, I'm surprised you got that because
in
I
case
recently changed it.
anybody's curious. Oh, it is 214. Nice. In case anybody's curious, that's where you can find Aklo streaming live sometimes. You get it. So that is another question. It's related to the burnout thing. It's all of this activity that you have for yourself. How do you make times of relaxing or unplugging count for you? I mean, does that even happen in the first place? Do you even get to unplug?
So I think, like my brother actually pointed out something to me, and it's that like it's a mentality thing, right? And it's something I still struggle with. And he said a lot of people when they're juggling two tasks, um, like what you should be doing is going 100% at each task, just at different times, right? So like when you're practicing melee, you should be focusing on practicing melee. And when you're doing like studying, you should be focusing on studying. But what happens to me a lot is that like while I'm playing melee, I he 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 describes it as this that I'm going 50-50 and I'm going 50% in each one. And that's not what you want to do. So like while I'm playing melee, I'm stressed out and being like, "Oh, I should be studying." And then it's affecting how I'm practicing melee. And while I'm studying, like I'll take breaks and play melee and I shouldn't do that. And yeah, I think that actually makes it really hard for me. I think maybe one thing that I can do, like the one thing I've tried to do to help stop it is just like plan out when I'm going to study or when I'm going to play melee, but I'm not so great at that. But it's something I got to work on for sure.
I agree with you, and the fact that it's hard to have two different lives is not the right word to put it because you can be a student, you can be a melee player, or in my case, melee podcasting, melee playing. I mean, I'm silver 1, and I was just told I need to be silver 2 in order to participate in an all chat video if I want to be eligible. They're like, you
Wait, are
need
you
to be silver
serious?
2. So
Wait, did they actually tell you that?
Slumlord is a friend of the program, and I like Slumlord. They put out a sorry. He says to everybody, "Hey, we want a bronze player, a silver player, gold, diamond, platinum, grandmaster. We want one of each category." And I go, "Oh, I'm in silver. Let's go." So I go, "Hey, I'm in silver 1." And he says, "Can you be silver 2?" I go, "Oh,
Oh
I will give it.
no.
I will give it my best shot." So I have a. Hey, this is actually good because most of the time when I think about playing melee, I go, I can't really do a lot of things right because look, you should already know how bad of a player I am because of my ranking in Slippy. So if I think about how to get better, I go, well, that's a myriad of things I could improve at. How am I supposed to do that when while I'm playing, I'm kind of feeling bad? You know, my 2 kids and my wife, they probably would rather not me practicing this game right now since they're all awake and would just want to hang out with me and do stuff. So
That's fair.
yeah, so that I definitely understand. I think since we're in the melee space, that means a lot of people have to the vast majority of us have to find a way to pay the bills and to go to school if that's the move, and then also play in a game that is just as hard, if not the hardest time to ever play the game. Despite all the resources, that just means that everybody who's at the top are really well studied. They play a lot. They VOD review. They work on techniques. They use Uncle
Right.
Punch. They train regularly with other really good players on Slippy. They have all of those resources, right? And I go, huh, yeah, that would be tough for me too. Even if I had all of that in front of me, I had like a wide open 4 hour block where I could do melee and I could be trained by a coach and I could work on my techniques. I would still feel distracted in that time because I would go, yeah, but I feel kind of bad doing it right now. And then when I'm not
Exactly.
playing melee,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to play melee. So I get
Yep.
it.
Yep. Oh, but part of your question you asked, am I able to unplug, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, I think a big part of when I play Melee is actually like, especially before Ranked came out, it kind of was me unplugging. So it's probably not the best practice to just unplug and like go mindlessly play Melee, but it was like enough to keep me like warmed up so that like I wouldn't fall out of practice. And uh I loved playing unranked before ranked came out. Like I would just play like that would be my main practice. But yeah, that is kind of how I unplug. Like I just like mindlessly play unranked. And like there are definitely times where I put more effort into it than just like mindlessly playing because like I gotta practice as well, you know.
By the way, I know that we're 2 different people, but something that has always resonated with me is whenever you're badgered about. I mean, you've been asked about this on Radio Melee. You were asked about this on Waiting for Game. All the other awesome Melee podcasts. Shouts out about your taunting habit, and you're talking about it. And I go, yes, the points at the end of the kills in
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
single players. Um, that like there's these little melee isms, right, where you go, that person does the exact same thing for the exact same reason. Who would you say is somebody that you play against and you go, wow, they kind of treat the game almost exactly the same way that I do, even if they don't play Fox? Who would you say is someone that you feel as if has a really similar play style or similar approach mentally to playing melee?
Do you want the easy answer or like because like the easy answer is my brother because I learned to play like from him. But I can try to think of someone else too that's like not my brother.
No, that's cool. Are you talking about Foxy Grandpa or your other
Yeah,
brother?
yeah.
Is it I don't want to say idiom because I feel like it's close to that, but I might be wrong.
My other brothers, I have 3 older brothers, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, we all grew up playing Melee. My oldest brother is Vidiot, and my second oldest brother is Killer Cubs, and then my third oldest, the one closest in age to me is Foxy Grandpa. Yeah.
Foxy Grandpa. I don't
But
know if
yeah,
it.
I'd say what was that?
Okay, no, never mind, never mind. Wait, I have to give Wikipedia credit. I just read over Killer Cubs. I'll go 2 brothers. Got it. I know that. No, I don't. It's three anyway.
Yeah, it's three.
But when you think of, okay, maybe against when you're talking about playing against people at either nightclub or top 50 kind of players, who would you say has the most similar either play style or mental approach to playing Melee?
It's a hard question. Let me think.
Mm. One of my favorite things while you're thinking about it, one of my favorite things that I get to do on a semi-regular basis is I get to play against Hada, who is with all chat. Shouts out to Hada. Great commentator, great Peach player, but is very much tired of playing Melee singles, very much hates the runaway Fox, which is kind of my play style. And because I can't always approach, I don't have the tech still to always approach. I just like dash dancing away from your approach and then coming in with up smash. I can't help it. So I'm like the antithesis of Hada, and that's the only reason why I can play him close, because he's a much better player than me. But he's gotten to the point of his Melee life where he goes, I've overplayed singles. I'm tired of it. I just like doubles because there's constant action. Why are you running away?
Oh, I think I thought of someone. So I wouldn't say they necessarily play like me, but I will say that when I played Fiction at Ludwig's Smash Invitational, and I also played him at Big House too, actually. Like we both didn't want to be the one to give like if you watched our set at Ludwig's, it's him shooting multiple lasers and me sitting there and holding down B to reflect them. Like neither of us were like budging. And I thought that was really funny because like it just showed like I think Vish on commentary too said like these guys both like the stalemates. Like you know what I mean?
hmm I
Yeah,
mean,
so I thought that was like a really weird match if you ever want to watch that one.
so it's, I mean, I wanted to say, just even if it's not necessarily true, I always thought that your matches with Hungrybox Online, I guess you haven't played in person against each other.
Right, right.
At least not that I can tell. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but played some online sets, of course. I mean, I think that for a little while, the Gallant Melee Open events, it was a staple for you and Hungrybox to play against each other, at least in grand
Yeah.
finals. So when I watched you two play, I know that Hungrybox's thing is I really would just like for an opening to happen, and then I can, go in and take advantage of that. And usually the opening is a tech skill flub, because
Yeah.
that's what it takes for Jigglypuff to win. It's not that, oh, you drifted in a little bit too far. It's more of like, nah, we need you to miss an L cancel, please miss an L cancel, please. Right. But you're playing as Fox, and I can tell that your play style at least is somewhat centered around the idea of, I don't need to force it right now. I can wait for an advantageous position to occur, and then I can go in and do my thing. Not You're not always saying I have to be the aggressor. So if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what do you think of that? That I'm bringing up Hungrybox as somebody who I kind of look at you two and I go, there's something there in terms of a similarity, or am I off base?
Yeah, no, I think what you said is very accurate, and I actually didn't even think of like Hungry Bucks as like as my answer. Like that slipped my mind, you know? Uh I wouldn't say like we're like 100% similar, but like I think you're right with like the mentality is like, oh, I don't have to give first. And that's especially true when I play against him. Yeah. It's
But you,
actually funny, like uh, um Hungry Bucks, like he said before that he hates playing me, but I actually love playing him. Because when I play him, it's like how you said, like it makes me play so disciplined that and I feel like I should be playing that way against everyone. So when I play him, I think I'm actually generally like improving all around. And that's why I like playing him. So yeah.
I think it's so fun when you get to stretch your strength as far as it can possibly go. So it again, like it feeds into when I play against someone who goes, okay, sure, I'll dash dance too. I won't approach right away too. And I go, oh, finally, how much patience can I draw this out from today? How can I stretch my what I perceive to be a strength of mine, just not always feeling that urge to go in, make something happen. Especially when I'm behind. I love that feeling when I'm behind in a match. I might be behind by a stock, maybe just a stock. And there's a change in priorities for each player. Like my priorities to approach for and try to make things happen. And I go, but there's also like 6 minutes left. I don't have to if I don't want to, or I even go, there's 2 minutes left for some reason. Even if it's not a spacey floaty matchup, it might just be because me and the other spacey are really, really bad players. We can't punish as well as, as top players like you. So we're 2 minutes left on a match. We're each down to last stock. I have high percent, they have low percent, and I go, no, I still don't really have to make something happen because there's no way we're going to do this for 2 minutes. Something's going to happen, and then I can go. And I really enjoy that feeling. I think that's part of why Melee is so much fun. It's like the dynamic of who's ahead and who's not, and I think I enjoy that idea of I can make a comeback here and continue to stick to my game plan. I don't have to immediately go in just because, oh no, I'm down on percent on last stock, or I'm down a few stocks going into it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and actually, what you just said is actually something that I have trouble with myself. Like when I do lose the lead, it's actually really hard for me to keep playing that long game. I get frustrated. So when I lose the lead, I'm just like shoot, shoot, shoot. Like now I can't do what I'm doing because he's winning. Like I have to go in. So, but you're right. Like if there's 6 minutes, there's 6 minutes. Like you maybe you could like I definitely could wait a little bit longer. Like in those like obviously not every match, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like when I'm like playing like versus the swooper or something like that. I don't know if you've seen those sets, but
They're fun to watch, but you're up on offline if I was looking at the spreadsheet correctly. Again, the spreadsheet could be wrong. You did tear apart one on Twitter, but I think ETOS spreadsheet is pretty good by now because a lot of people have gotten in feedback. Are you positive on the swooper? Because that's what it shows here for
yeah,
this
yeah.
year.
I've only ever lost to the swooper one time.
Mm. That's one of your I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since we're talking about the swooper, that's one of the more contentious matchups just because I think both of you have reasons to not like playing against each other. Is that a fair thing to say?
I definitely don't like playing against him. Uh, like I don't mind playing against him when he like. I mean, I'm not even just throwing shots or anything. Like when he gets off the ledge, then I'm fine playing with against him.
But is it
But
okay, how about this? It's like I hate playing against that person, but I love watching that person play against somebody else because then they feel my pain too. Is that how you would look at it, or is it just more of the less of the swooper that I see on the screen, probably the better for me personally. Like on the screen, in real life, it's whatever. I'm not trying to say anything personal. I'm just trying to ask
oh
you
yeah,
if you
he's a
enjoy
great
watching
guy
swooper
in
play
real
against
life.
somebody else and watch that person go, "Why is swooper not getting off the ledge?"
Yeah, I mean, I liked watching him on the screen when he's doing his combos, just not watching him on the screen when he's not on the stage.
It's one of those nightmare materials. Looks like I lost my camera for a second there. Okay, I'm fine. One of those nightmare materials is when there's three floaties in top four of a nightclub and there's only one spacey or fast faller like Captain Smuckers maybe or somebody is left and you're
Yeah,
going, please Smuckers, please. I can't do
yep.
floaties for the rest of the night.
You know, that's actually true. Like, whenever I see I have to play like a Samus or a Puff, I'm just like, well, I better like you gotta prepare yourself mentally because that's gonna be a longer set, you know?
What is your what is your like your some of your favorite things about competing at nightclub? We can spend a little bit talking about going to nightclub because I haven't been, so you can tell me from as a like a sales pitch, or you could just talk about whatever you want to related to nightclub, favorite parts of it, or I don't know, do they have good tap water? You get it.
They actually do have really good tap water.
Mm.
But I think my favorite things about nightclub is first of all the venue. I don't know if you've seen like pictures of it or anything,
Yeah, I've
but
seen pictures. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the venue is great. It's like it's the perfect space for like nightclub to be. And there's a bar too, and I don't really drink, but like like everyone's just like chilling, relaxing. Everyone's having a good time, and the I think my favorite thing about nightclub and actually not even just nightclub, like when I've been going to events like this entire year, it's really just the people. Like hanging out with everyone is really nice, and everyone is just they're just great people. And um, but one thing specific to nightclub is the crowd. The crowd gets hyped for anything.
It's really
Uh,
cool when I get to see I don't tune in every week, but I'll see highlights at the very least. I mean, I was a happy accident that I tuned in live because I was thinking to myself, Kadorn's going to be at nightclub. Kadorn's going to be at nightclub. I got to tune in, and then I almost forgot until the almost the very end when you two played your two grand final sets.
oh, right, right.
Yeah. Anyway, but all that to say, of course they're going to get hyped for grand finals, but there'll be Wasabi came back to the East Coast for a week, and I think was at one nightclub this fall,
Yeah,
and this was maybe it wasn't even top 8 yet, but everybody's freaking out for Wasabi. It's not a top 8 match yet, but I was like,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
this is so cool. This is the kind of love that Wasabi gets for coming back to New York and showing up at a nightclub. It's so cool. So there's like all that support for Wasabi and for I forget. I don't think it was just Jason. It was somebody else who he was going up against, another
Yeah, I
Fox
think it
player.
was Freezes
Freeze
actually.
this. You're right. That's who it
Yeah,
was. You're right.
I was there for that one. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
but
really it was really fun. And when I see nightclub events, I always go, huh. I would need to wear these. My one ear starts to ring a lot when there's really loud noise. I'd have to wear this
oh
pretty much
yeah, yeah.
the
No,
entire
like
time being there.
if you're not used to like crowds and like most people going to locals aren't that used to like people shouting and stuff, but like you got to be used to that at New York.
How often have you had to justify the use of the monitors to people who go, "Yeah, but monitors, right?
Dude,
Lag."
so many times. Yeah, it's like there are people there. Like a lot of people go to nightclub as their first local, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I didn't come here for a long time." And I especially because like they use monitors, and I was telling them like with the right codes and stuff, like monitors are literally, in my opinion, just better than CRTs. And like CRTs, they they just hurt my eyes. They're so blurry. And but I think the best reason that like the best case for monitors is that we can make them uniform. Like all CRTs are a little bit different,
Yep.
but you can use monitors and like at nightclub every monitor is the same like the same setup, you know?
Yeah, I like that about monitors. Also, everybody who's playing Slippy at home and then comes to nightclub and complains about the monitors, like, what were you doing at home? You were using a monitor. Like, just, you got something up here, you can use it. And I think that what people love about CRTs is the nostalgic aspect of it. But the more time passes, the more people are going to come in. Not all like OG Kid, for example, but there'll be people who go, yeah, I didn't grow up on a CRT at all. I did not. So why would I want to use
Yeah.
CRT? Because to your point, it is a little bit of a blurry hot mess, but I still have warm feelings for CRTs, even the 45, 50-ish pound one that I lug around downstairs. I
Yeah,
just
I
want a big
know.
one. I can't stand a blurry small CRT. I'll take a big blurry one, please. So I
Like we still have the one we grew up playing Melee with downstairs. Like I don't want to throw that out, you know?
of course,
Oh,
no, that's got memories on it. Absolutely.
exactly. I think at this point, like it's like you said, people have an attachment to the CRTs. It's kind of like iconic for like a symbol for Melee, right?
Absolutely, because we're the people who care the most about input delay. Nobody from the Kirby Air Ride crowd is really going bananas for it and saying we gotta have it. If there are even people who enjoy Kirby Air Ride still, I know Matt.Zeb's one of them. But oh, and I'll also shout out somebody recently wrote a Gecko code for Kirby Air Ride Netplay. That
I was
looks
about to
fun.
say,
That looks
yeah, I
fun.
was about to bring that up.
That looks fun. I'll have to try that out at some point. I'm
Same, same.
actually currently trying out P plus. I finally got P plus onto this computer, and I've been playing automatic L cancel Link, and I've been having super fun doing that because Link is my first ever character in Smash in general. On
Me too.
64, I love playing as Link and Kirby because I would have to acknowledge against my older brothers. I can't beat them yet in my little brain, but I go, Kirby's got the down B and lots of jumps. Link
Those
has,
were
you know, not as many jumps.
those are also my first characters in Smash.
That's crazy. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Link is support like one of your, I mean, all-time favorite characters, period. But
Yeah.
I don't think I knew exactly how you first got started with playing 64 into Melee because you were playing Melee from the beginning as well. It wasn't like, oh, 64 and now Melee came out. You're young enough that you were you were very, very young when Melee was already out, right?
Right, right. It came out the same year I was born.
Yep.
So I think yeah, we had 64 already, like before I was even born. But I remember I watched my brother play Ocarina of Time, and I just thought Link was like the coolest thing ever. Like, so when I could finally like play and stuff, like of course I picked Link, you know?
What I would do with Ocarina of Time is I would get the big Goron sword literally as soon as possible. You can do it if you have Epona unlocked before you even start the Forest Temple. So you just gotta do that whole thing, get the big Goron sword, find a like so that you can lose your shield on purpose, and then you have Link just with the big Goron shield sword and no shield on the back, so he looks like a traveling like Aragorn type, I guess, from Lord of the Rings. And I go, now this is awesome. That's what I love to do when I play through Ocarina of Time.
That's really funny.
People don't know about how awesome the big Goron sword is. They wait way too long and they get frustrated in the Water Temple and go, why do I have to use a Megaton hammer or whatever to beat Dark Link? And I'm just going big Goron sword, stabby stab. It makes
I think people hate on the Water Temple too much.
Well, it's what's really annoying about it is how you have to travel up and down several times, but
Yeah.
you hate yourself when you realize, oh, I missed the one key during my up and down traveling, so now I have to start
Uh,
this cycle over. And really,
that's
yes,
fair.
they they
That is
they
fair.
they have a point, I guess, because it takes so long compared to some of the other ones, but I think I think the reason why it's fun to play for me, even still, is because it's stretching my ability to make sure I'm covering every room. I think that you can kind of go into autopilot in other temples in Ocarina of Time, but Water Temple like helps you, I don't know, wake up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to get too far into the Ocarina of Time discussion, we were talking about this because it's really fun to play as Link in P plus.
Right, right.
Super fun to play as Link in P plus, and I have to use automatic L cancel because I just have never had that option before, and I go, wow, this is really fun. It reminds me a little bit of Ultimate, except way more fun because what advanced techniques are there in Ultimate? It's cool that everybody has low ending lag on their aerials, but
Yeah.
I've never really liked how Ultimate feels. So when I play P plus, I'm going, this is what people want to play when they're playing Ultimate. And I've also, have you tried the HDR, the like the remix thing, the heat draw remix of Ultimate? Have you tried that at all yet?
Oh no, I haven't tried that actually. But I don't know if I will try that because like I feel like if I'm gonna play one of like those kind of mods, I might as well just play P plus, you know?
That's the most popular one for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, after the Nintendo stuff with Smash World Tour, I'm hoping that more Ultimate people. I mean, there was a somebody released a mod that you can reduce the input lag to 0 if you want to, or make it
Oh
two
wow.
frame like in Melee. Which I thought, oh, they're starting to modify Ultimate even more and more,
Oh,
and
okay.
they should just keep doing that. Just keep
No,
doing
yeah. If
it.
that's a thing, I actually definitely want to try that because I do play Ultimate, but the thing I like least about it is the input lag, like the native input lag.
Let me find it. I'll share the sauce with you. I'll work on that. And
All right.
you can tell me about when you like everybody knows that you learned how to wave dash before you learned how to read, but what is something that you don't get enough respect for in your early days of playing? Like what were you also good at, not just wave dashing when you were really young?
Okay, okay. So first of all, I think a lot of people actually think that's a joke. Like I could wave dash before I could read. That's actually like legit true. Like,
No, I
um,
absolutely believe you. I believe you.
but other things I could do is like, I was wave shining when I was 8 years old.
You were doing what when you were 8 years old?
Wave shining.
I can't wave shine with the box yet. I also haven't been practicing it, but I feel like I don't know. Anyway, 8 years old. Whoo, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think I played Fox like a lot when I was around like 8 years old. I played Fox and Pikachu. And then later I started playing a lot of Marth and Falcon Like I think there's a period where I mained each of those characters, and then finally I just started maining Fox again. So
I'm still haven't found the sauce yet, but I am going to find it because I saw it and I thought that was the coolest thing ever, or you get it.
it's all
Uh,
good. You can send me it after too if you want.
that's true. I just thought I would have to just look up a couple keywords and it would show up right away. Silly me. You know, this is something that you would understand, Aklo. Remember in the good old days of Google, you would look up something and it would show you exactly what you looked up. Even if you typed in something wrong, it would go, okay, then. But nowadays, it's just like sponsored results and it
Oh yeah,
automatically corrects.
yeah.
It's like, no, you meant tossed, not e-tossed. And I go, I did mean e-toss. Stupid computer, stupid Google. I mean, I hate that. I mean, what's something that you think back to that makes you go, "Ah, if only they still did it like this." I mean, 5 stars on YouTube, the ratings available,
Oh
rate the
yeah.
thumbnail so that you would know what you're getting into. People don't talk about that anymore.
I think it's crazy that they took off dislikes on YouTube. Like I was never like a guy who like dislikes videos, going around like disliking every video. But like
Right.
I think it's crazy that they took that off.
Yeah, that when that went away, I was like, "Ah, yes, I totally get what you mean." And that was only recently too. I'm surprised that thinking on it, I'm sure that from a long time ago, corporations were like, we can't keep getting owned by all these anime PFPs on YouTube. Please take away the dislike button. And YouTube goes, but it would be unpopular. But you get to a certain point where you realize, I mean, everybody uses YouTube. They're not going to stop. I haven't stopped using YouTube. Nobody's
Yeah,
boycotting YouTube.
it's too big to like just stop using.
Yeah, we we lost the grassroots side of it. Do you like the angle that Scar put out to the world after Smash World Tour stuff happened this past month? When that happened, Scar puts out the idea of Melee's never going to be esports, nor should it be. It should always be a grassroots community. It should be a grassroots community first and not concentrate on becoming esports. Like, what's your thought on that? Because you're trying to make this work for yourself to be a top competitive player.
Right, right. Um, I do kind of think Scar is right. Like we shouldn't forget that we're grassroots, right? But I think we can definitely like branch into esports a little bit, and we are already. And I think um we should be thankful for like the amount of progress we've made by doing that, but we shouldn't try to push it, right? But Scar definitely knows better than I do. So like I trust what he says.
Yes, well, I mean, I guess we all want to see the police come, pause, and take away our CRTs. I guess we all want. I enjoyed Scar's a friend of the program as well. Really enjoyed that conversation. That happened before the Smash World Tour thing, but I mean, my thing on it is that I want people who are excellent at either doing production or being a top melee competitor or a commentator, a content creator. You know, people like Turn Down for Walt, and also people like you and IBDW. There are people who deserve to be able to put their stamp on the melee history, scene, community, and be able to do that without having to worry about paying the bills. And that's why esports engine seems like it's necessary. But the other thing is that we can never have what other just nearly as dysfunctional. I mean, you know, every esport has some kind of dysfunctional aspect to it. It's not like everybody else is having a peachy time, but I would love the idea of people who want to make a career out of melee having the chance to do that.
I agree.
Not that everybody quote unquote deserves it, but you have to show up and work hard. But for those people who do, I mean, I would really love for them to have the opportunity to do that and not just be in this current reality that we have, which is maybe 10 or 20 people, 10 top players, 10 production kind of people. I feel
Yeah.
like the list is it's so small, and that's the part that is a shame. It's not necessarily, oh, everybody should make millions and millions of dollars. To be more like, well, it'd be nice if they could make a living and not be forced to go to either other esports or go back to, you know, regular life. It's a shame. Not that we would still have people like PC Chris if he was a legacy top 100 player and still making a living in some capacity like an old NFL player does. Not that we would necessarily get that to that level, but it'd be cool because I bet you a lot of people would have stuck around if there was more of an ecosystem in the first place.
I completely agree with that. Like, it's kind of sad, right? Like, there's people who are like top 10 in the world, or if not top 10, like close to it, and they're that good, and they still, it's not an option for them, right?
They don't have the ability to say, "Oh yes, I'm ready now." I mean, even
Exactly.
yeah, even Jmook, it was not an immediate thing where he has a breakout second place performance and then there's like a little dot 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 before the FlyQuest thing came along. I think
Yeah.
Mango talked about it very briefly afterwards, something to the effect of we, as in the other top players, we had to make sure that Jmook got a good deal out of that because Jmook wasn't necessarily like all informed of this is how it works. Because I mean, how could he know? He hadn't signed an esports contract
Right.
like that before. So more or less implying the idea of the other me, Mango, and the other top players wanted to make sure that it was that Jmook was getting a fair shake because he deserves to get that because of the level of play that he's already at. By the way, do you feel somewhat supplanted by Jmook as like the top hidden boss of North America? Because I think you carried that title for a long time. I know other people said that Jmook was a hidden boss as well, but did you have any pride about being a hidden boss that kind of felt stunted, or am I just completely
Um,
drawing air?
I think definitely like that feeling, like I think by the time I was no longer a hidden boss, um then it was kind of like then I was okay with it. Like I had no reason to be upset with it because like when Jmook like broke out and stuff, like by that point people had already kind of known my name. So it wasn't a huge deal to me. But I definitely knew about Jmook like way back in the day. Like I've I've seen him playing in like 20 like 17 and stuff like that. But yeah.
By
But
the way, the reason why I can't find the sauce is because a lot of the posts that had the link are being taken down. So we're going underground with
uh
this. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. There's
I
a
mean, yeah, you can just find it after if you want.
mm-hmm.
Might be
I
easier.
I'll find it. I'll find I know some people who play the like the he draw like the HDR ultimate mod, so they probably have it. I can get a hold of it, I
Okay.
bet. Okay.
But yeah, so like just to answer your question, like no, I wasn't upset about it really. But
Mhm.
like um yeah, 'cause like yeah, I was just happy for him honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool to see. I knew the rumblings of Jmook. I did not see New York Jmook at all, but in 2021 he entered maybe three online tournaments that I watched, and I just go,
Right.
"Wow,
What I
is
was
this
unhappy about was
what?"
that one thing I was unhappy about was that at one of those online tournaments, I think we played two or three times online. He beat me at one of them, and like that one had a lot of views, and like people would be like, "Wow, he beat Aklo," and like, "Come on, man!" Like
Nobody likes
actually,
being the person who has to gatekeep a top player breaking in. I perceive my perception was that Ginger was that person because Jmook dismantled Ginger at one of those online events.
hmm
I mean, had ridiculous tech chases and combos and edge guards. It all seemed to like come together. And after one game of that, you go, Sheik players can't do that two games in a row. That was they just used up all of their golden egg, okay? And they're gonna kind of put forward their B game the rest of the time. But Jmook has this uncanny habit, in my mind, of playing at like an A game level, not just for one set, not just for one game, to like
yeah,
almost even for an entire day. And I know that he
yeah,
hasn't been able to put it all together yet, but I mean, we're all thinking it and believing that he's going to be able to win a major one of these days because of
yeah,
how good he's played this year at the events he's attended.
yeah. It's really just a matter of like when is it gonna happen, right?
Hmm.
But
So,
yeah, that time he beat me was actually the first time I've ever lost a Sheik other than my brother.
wow, that's what it
Yeah,
takes.
yeah.
It takes Foxy Grandpa and J Mook. No spark, no face roll, none of that. Or whoever. Oh, sorry. I should also be nice to New York City Sheiks. There's just Jason, right? And um,
Yeah.
does Heartstrings
J,
play Streak, or am I
yeah,
misremembering?
yeah, Heartstrings does play Sheik, yeah.
Well, poor them, poor Heartstrings and just Jason. We were just talking about how you haven't lost any. I feel bad for bringing them up. They're like, don't remind me, Cypher. I know I haven't beaten Aklo yet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just gotta practice the matchup or something or get good. You get it. All right. So when I think about this upcoming year, we talked a lot about 2022 Melee. I'll ask you to look forward a little bit. How far are you along in school, and what's like the idea for when that is done? What how your relationship to Melee changes? Is that going to be done this upcoming year, or is it ongoing?
So I'm actually graduating. I'm an undergrad right now, right? So I'm a senior, and my graduation is in late May. However, I the reason that I took a big break in 2022 is because I was studying for my MCAT to potentially apply to med schools. And I took the exam, but I didn't really do so great. I didn't like my score. So I do plan to take the exam again. So I might have to take another break sometime in 2023 and just, block it off for studying. And um in addition to that, I do want to like build up my resume a little bit. So I might try to get like a part-time, maybe full-time job, like just doing something in the medical field, like a medical scribe or something like that. And so even though I'm graduating in May, um, I won't be completely free to just play Melee, but I do plan to play a lot of Melee. Like I'm hoping that I have more time than I did before.
It was the wildest thing to hear Laud be excited about having 2 or so months between being done with med school and going into residency. That's what it
Residency,
was.
yeah.
And being like, I could really do a lot. And I go, yeah, but that seems like such a short amount of time too. But it's more time than Laud had a chance previously of being able to make melee kind of more of the full time thing before going into residency. I just have so much respect for medical school students like yourself, like Laud, formerly medical school student. You get it, who just somehow make the time for everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Lot. Like he's making it work.
Yeah, even if he doesn't get a chance to play a lot of melee, now he has his favorite thing because he uses unranked to play melee as well to practice before going into an event. That's what he told me. But now that ranked is out, oh, that's what he's absolutely doing. He was in top
Yep,
50 for a little bit there, preparing for the Scuff World Tour finale.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get to? Did you get to? Wait, am I misremembering? Did you not? You didn't go to that because of finals, right?
I mean, I actually wasn't even invited to Scuff World Tour, but I couldn't go anyway because even if I was invited, like I literally had a final the next day. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. Not possible. Not possible.
yeah,
That's the really tough about the end of year tournaments. You feel like they matter so much more in your mind because it's the latest and greatest. What have you done for me lately? And yet we still
yeah,
have to consider how cool it is that you placed really well at these other early start of the year tournaments that count just as much as the end of the year does because it captures the
that's
whole
true.
year. Yeah. But if I were in your position, I would be thinking the exact same thing. I'd be going, ah, why wasn't I invited? Why do I have
Yeah,
finals? No.
yeah,
While also remembering, yes, I do actually want to become somebody who works in the medical field.
right.
Alrighty then. Let's see. Or what are some of your goals within Melee then? So we were talking about how you'll be needing to do the MKEV. What was the test called
Is
again?
the MCAT like cat and
MCAT.
dog? Yeah.
Okay, you have to do that. You'll have to graduate from be go from undergraduate to graduate in May. So then, what's a goal of Melee that you think for yourself? I don't think you've posted Melee 2023 goals yet. And I know some people have. You don't have to if you don't want to. But did you have any in mind that you want to like say I'd like to do this with Melee this year?
Well, for this year of 2022, I was really hoping to get ranked top 15, but I kind of feel like they're gonna rank me 16th or 17th. So even though I'm not ranked top 15 yet, like just assuming they're not going to, I really want to break the top 10 at the end of 20 by the end of 2023.
That's crazy. Well, I'm saying crazy not just because it obviously being top 10 in Melee does take a lot of work and placing well at tournaments. I just think about I was sort of picture it the same way for Amsa. He's going to be going back to Japan sometime in the fall of 2023 because his his work visa is for 1 year. So I don't know
Okay.
how that works. I don't know if it can get extended. I don't know if he'll go back early. Maybe he'll just say in June, you know what? I'm going home. I'm done. I don't know what he's gonna. I don't know. We don't know. But assuming that he only plays Melee in North America by living in Vancouver until, let's say, October was around the time that he moved here in this a couple months ago in this year, then there's a lot of pressure to place top eight, or in his case, to win tournaments between the start of 2023 and that October time, because he might come back to the U.S. doing his old ways of flying from Japan a couple of days before the event, playing the event, and then flying back to Japan. I don't know, obviously, if he's going to play at the same
Right.
exact high level. Maybe he will, because he surprised all of us. Or I don't know what you would have predicted, but when he moved to the United States, I thought everybody will just get to know Yoshi. Oh, silly me, he's winning tournaments. My bad. My bad. Let's go, Amsa. So that was obviously a really cool turnaround. So maybe he'll play just as well coming from Japan for Big House or main stage this upcoming year, or whatever the finale of next December is, whatever that ends up looking like. Maybe he'll play just as well. But I think, is there not more pressure for you when you think about there will be a sizable amount of time in 2023 where I'm not participating in tournaments and I'm not getting as much practice in? Does that add more pressure to you, or do you not like not care about it?
Yeah, it does a little bit because like I feel like in general, when I don't like even right now, I don't really have as much time to play as like other top players. And when it makes me feel like when I go to events, like, oh, like I better do well because I don't have another chance until like months ahead of me. So yeah, it does put more pressure on.
When I was thinking about Gommel and Josh Mann playing really, really well at that event, placing fourth, if I recall correctly. I mean, I think it was that, and also beating IBDW at that event when Josh
Yeah.
Mann was able to have a really good performance prior to moving back to Australia. Although I really feel like he's been in the United States the whole year. I can't tell.
Yeah,
But
it does feel that
but that was
way.
supposed to be like his last event before going back to Australia for a while, and it was like, "Oh, how cool is this?" Is that is that a good substitute to winning a tournament, knowing that this is your last big tournament before you get into exam mode, when you can come back to a Melee tournament in 3 months? This is your last chance for 3 months, and you place really well, but you don't get first. Is it still just as good of a feeling, or would you rather go, I mean, first and going away from that is better? Like, how does
I
that feel to
think
you?
I think if you gotta walk away from it, it definitely helps to end on a high note, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's a high note for you if you're shooting for top 10? Is a high note for the last event for a little while in the year? Third place is a second or first? Like, what do you what comes to
Uh,
mind for you?
Generally, I'm disappointed if I don't make top eight. So
And you had a lot of those tournaments this year that felt like you wanted to shoot for top eight and you kind of placed in the ninth ish.
yeah, I got a lot of ninth places this year. Yeah,
But
but
you're hoping to at least turn that around and go top eight, top eight, top eight. It means I get top 10 because I'm finishing top eight at a lot of
yeah,
events.
yeah. Like I just want to be like expected to make top eight. You know?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, because you obviously want to get to a point where in winners where you go, okay, maybe I'll lose to the person who ends up winning the tournament on winners semis or something. But then if I win winners semis already, fifth place is guaranteed, that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
mean, what's your mentality like when you go into losers, whether you go into losers earlier than you think you should or later? When you enter into losers bracket, what changes for you? Does anything change?
Um. Well, sometimes, like you said, like, and you should never do this, like, as a competitor. I do think, oh, what's the worst placement I can get now? Like, what am I guaranteed now? But you shouldn't do that. And but I'd say my mentality, like, competing, um, there's a little bit more pressure on because you know that, like, if you lose, you're out, right? But it actually doesn't affect my play too much, right? Like because either way, I'm trying my best, whether I'm in winners or losers side.
So you're just trying to stay as focused as possible more or less, as compared
Yeah,
to immediately diving into what happens now. And especially,
yeah.
I guess it depends on the tournament. Most of the top eight, of course, is streamed one match by one match, so you have a chance to collect your thoughts at least for 20 minutes. But what is your ideal time if you have something happen to you? You either exit winners on a low note, or you're out of the tournament and losers on a low note, and you're done for the day. I mean, how long do you need if you're not happy about how it went before you can start talking to people again? Because you know how it is. The person who placed a second at all these big events like Mango, nobody talked to Mango when he was walking off the stage. I was there when I saw him walking away. I was like, please, nobody talk to him, nobody stop him, and they all let him walk through. And I go, yes, everybody's doing a good job. And I'm sure it was the same way for Zane, finishing second at a tournament, or IBDW finishing second at a tournament. Like, just nobody talked to him for a little bit. How long do you think you need when you have something happen like that where you go, this is the worst, I hate the fact that I just lost?
Honestly, like, I think I'm very good at separating that feeling. Like, I don't think I need much time at all for that compared to other players. Um, like I talk to people after I lose like all the time. Um, I will say though, like it's probably better to just like wait at least like 2 minutes, you know? Like don't catch me walking down the stage. But I have talked to people like literally just walking off the stage too. And I never get like I can like separate the feeling of me being like upset. I can separate that when I'm talking to someone else. Like I'm not going to direct that towards the person I'm talking to. So I think I'm pretty good at dealing with that.
Hmm. I mean, the fact that you're willing to give it just a 2 minute buffer, I mean, that probably does mean that I don't know. I should have asked that too. I don't ask direct questions to people who are like, I'm gonna have on somebody that you know often. I don't usually do that. I think I've done that maybe 2 times. When I over prepare for an interview, I always mess it up, so I try not to over prepare anymore. And plus, I have another monitor now for my birthday from October, so it's kind of nice. I could just keep coming up with questions. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to ask you, and I was not using the computer to think of this question, what is the tournament this upcoming year that you're most looking forward to going to? Because after you follow these tournaments enough, you have a perception of, I really like watching this event, or I really like watching that event. Gommel was one of my favorite events watching. I wasn't there because of the microphone that they had where the players were like talking about counter picks when IBDW after the first
Oh
game.
yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not even talking about the reverse pop off. I'm talking about after the first game where Hungrybox did a little bit of planking, a little bit of ledge grabbing, not a severe amount, just the normal amount of Hungrybox ledge grabbing. And IBDW was ticked off because he lost the first game. I heard him because of the mic at that setup on the stream setup being like, you know what? If you're just gonna play like that every time, then the and just telling HBox stuff like that, and Hungrybox is just going like, and IBDW wanted to check the ledge grab limit, and
But
that
did
did
that
not
really
work out.
happen? Wait, I knew that he checked the ledge grab limit, but I didn't know that he said that.
He's just like, you know what? If you're gonna do that the whole time, then I'm just like, you know how it is. He's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
check the. It's almost as funny as check the disc. That was also fun.
Yeah.
But what's the tournament that comes to mind for you where you think I like watching it or going to it, that kind of thing?
It actually, yeah, like you said, like I definitely wanted to go to Gommel. So I actually had signed up for Gommel last year, and then I decided to sell my pass to someone else so I could study for the MCAT. And man, like, did I miss out? Like, I heard from everybody who went that it was the tournament of the year to go to. And also my friends, Athene and Mar, they live in Toronto, and I haven't seen them in person for a really long time. And I would have loved to hang out with them at Gommel. So I found out the dates. I forget what they are, but like I saw Toronto Joe, the main TO for Gommel. He posted like when the Gommel of 2023 is going to be, and I had some like airline credits for Air Canada, and I booked it for those days for 2023 already.
How are you gonna study for the? Because this is over the summer. Gamel's every summer, right? So yeah, I guess
Mhm.
you're gonna make it work like you always do. You'll just make it work.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Like, uh, I think I might even take the MCAT before Gummel.
Woo! Let's go.
We'll see. We'll see.
Exciting stuff. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's not all set in stone, but that's gonna. Oh, because if I recall correctly, Gamel of this past year, I want to say was mid-July or something. I can't remember.
Yep. Yep. And I think that's when it is this year too.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, the summer Smash was really, really busy, but I don't know. I think my favorite time of the year this past year was the fall tournaments, and I can't help it. I was at Big House in person. That was so fun to go to. That was really
Mhm.
fun. I'm gonna definitely go back to Big House again this upcoming year, as long as, well, this should be pretty easy to get back there. We carpooled up. It wasn't that bad of a drive from Lancaster, PA. That's where I live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no big deal. Just say 8-ish hours of driving. That's not that bad
Oh
when you
my
can.
God, that's a really long drive.
Well, in the world of Smashers, when you can like switch drivers, you know how it is. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's really fun. We spent a lot of time not talking, and then we spent a lot of time talking. It was weird, but really fun at the same time.
Yep.
We'll get better at it this upcoming fall for the next big house. Okay, we are pretty much, well, no, we are at an hour, so I'll go ahead and start to close this up. The only thing other than the shout outs and such is Patreon questions, but I will give them one more chance. No Patreon questions. What a shame. Let's
Ah.
see. Let's see. Here's a Patreon question that I would envision being asked of you. Your link. Can we call it Linklo? I mean, I think people say that in chat just because that's a thing, but I've always called it the Linklo. Is that okay?
I call it that, yeah. My brother likes to call it the hero of timeout.
That's mean. But not against Lod though anymore, right? Not against Lod will the hero of timeout come
Um,
out.
it actually might. Like, Lod did beat me on FD, when I played him at Pound,
Yeah.
even though that game was super winnable with Fox. But like, I actually, this sounds like it's probably sounds stupid at first, and maybe it is, but like, I might even just try using Link against Lod not on FD. Like, I might just try it just to see how it goes. So,
I mean, look, the honest truth of the matter is that even if Link is really bad in melee, and I don't usually play as Link, it's still the character. It's such a cool character.
yeah, you know, it's kind of like addicting for me. Like, I find every excuse I can just to play Link, and like, it's probably not the right option in most scenarios, but like, I just love playing Link too much, you know?
Yeah, I totally understand because you're having fun playing the game, and that gives you an advantage sometimes. It makes people like
Yeah.
Fedora and go, I shouldn't be losing the Link right now. And then the game plan kind of falls apart, and it might also fall apart because you have a really great Fox, which is always true, of course, Aklo. But if it can be because of playing Link, that sounds fun. No, I mean I think my favorite play character to play other than Box Fox is probably Sheik instead on a GCC. When I have a GCC, most of the
Okay.
time I play as Sheik or Captain Falcon. I don't know, but every now and again the link still comes out. But most of the time when I'm playing 64 and Smash Remix, the mod of 64 that they
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they're making, I it's so hard not to play as Link. I love Link in 64
Yep.
especially.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's get you going. Roll out the red carpet. Please tell the people where they can find you and any last shout outs and thoughts that you want to add.
Sure. Well, first of all, um, my Twitter is at not Aklo. Um, I think, let me actually, do you mind if I just pull up my link share real quick? I forget what my handle is on each thing.
Your link tree is linktree/not although you do need to update it because you still have it as Chili Mountain instead of Nouns Esports.
Oh, you're right.
It's
Shoot.
okay. Look, shout outs to Athene, who is your manager and who you will hopefully be seeing at Gommel 2023. But just a little teensy feedback. Just got to switch that around. It's tough. There's so many places to look at. So many places to look at. But your
Um,
link tree will be in the description of the podcast, in the description of the video on YouTube, in the description of the podcast platforms that you may be
okay.
listening to this to. So that's where you can find all things Aklo. Yep.
Yep. And then I just want to say real quick, I know it's already in my link tree, but as you said before, my Twitch is twitch.tv/Aklo214, and my Instagram is SSBM Aklo, and I think that's about it for those things about it.
Well, how's the Instagram going? You started that up because of a class project, if I recall correctly. Was that
Oh, that was a different one actually.
oh, different?
So
Ah, okay.
yeah, so I had a class project where I had to. It was completely unrelated to Smash, but a lot of people actually ended up following that. I was very thankful for that. Like, I actually want to make a tweet about that because I just got the grade a few days ago, and I got an A- for the class. So yeah.
Hey. I didn't follow the thing, but hey. Not on Instagram anymore. I mean, my
It's all
profile is,
good.
but I just it's not on the phone anymore.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I don't really use Instagram that much, but I do want to like maybe so I'll make like a thank you tweet about that, and then like maybe I'll ask them like if you like want to follow my Smash Instagram account instead, like feel free,
Mm.
you know.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing you at these events in 2023 for you to shoot for a top 10. That's awesome. Let's go, Aklo. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Before we the outro will play and then we'll do a thumbnail after that. So it's like another pause, but in the meantime, please say goodbye to all the peoples.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me. It was really nice talking to you. Um, and quick shout outs if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout outs to first of all my brothers, the Brotherhood, and
Mhm.
then my friends Athene and Mar, and obviously my sponsor Announce. And yeah, but yeah, I had a good time.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. And yes, we'll see you after the outro is done playing. Thank you all, listeners and viewers, for joining us. We will see you all next time.